I'm going to be reading The Raven, but I'm going to be using my Christopher Lee, well, I guess not Christopher Lee, but I'm going to be using my epic reading voice. So here we go. Let's do it.
The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of some one gently rapping on my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless, here, forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir, and I, or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping on my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, making there and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering long I stood, where wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was broken, and the stillness gave no token, and only word was spoken, was whispered word, Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber, turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," I said, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thread it is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, and there stepped a stately raven, in the saintly days of yore. Not the least obsequious made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, both mine or of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though my crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what the lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Such I marveled, this ungainly fowl, to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door. Yet bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above this chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered. Still I scarcely more than uttered. Other hopes have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, Nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by a reply so aptly spoken. Doubtless, said I, what it utters is only stock in store, caught from some unhappy master whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope and melancholy burden bore of nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird, and bust, and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking that is ominous bird of yore. What this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking, Nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er. But those velvet violet lining and lamplight gloating o'er, she shall press, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled in the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee respite, and repent thee from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff, this kind nepenthe, I forgot this lost Lenore, quoth the raven, Nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home of horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore, quoth the raven, Nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet, still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden if, within the distant Aidenn, it's still clasped by sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, clasped by rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, quoth the raven, Nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or friend, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting, get thee back unto the tempest on the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, take thy form from off my door, quoth the raven, Nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of demons that is dreaming, and the lamp light over him, the streaming throws his shadow on the floor. My soul, from what the shadow that lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted.